Alright guys, good morning and welcome back. Alright, so in this tutorial I want to talk about quality and customers. Now this outfit, this fabric is Cashmere 220 and the owner wants to make a Danshiki with it. This is Cashmere 220, right? And a yard of this is sold for 19,000, 18,000, 18,500, 25,000, sorry, 21,000 and so on and so forth. Depends on your source. But averagely you can get this is for 21,000, like the range, the minimum is 21,000. So now, when a client makes an inquiry on the price of producing a particular outfit, you need to make sure you understand that quality comes first, like quality comes first before your pricing. Don't just rush to give prices without knowing your customers' quality tests or choice. Now, most tailors, when you make a clothes with a regular fabric, and let's say with stock material, and that cloth costs you, let's say 18,000 to produce in fabric procurement, you don't assume that the same price of 18,000 is what every customer might need. So customers might want the same material on a higher grade, on a higher quality. So this client asked for Danshiki, and lo and behold, I first asked him, which material do you have in mind? And he said Cashmere 220. And a lot of this material is being sold for 18 to 21,000. So I used 21,000 naira to calculate it. And then I needed 5 yards to get this. So if you multiply 5 yards times 21, you know how much the weight can come out. Now I have not added my cost of sewing, cost of monogram, and everything. So imagine I had rushed to tell him 80,000 or 70,000, which I used to sew my regular Danshiki with Korea fabric or bell material or virgin wool. Imagine if he had opted for this Cashmere 220 after I had told him price. That would have been a very big blow to my production. So immediately he said Cashmere 220, I had to now, calculate it in accordance to Cashmere 220 and now add the cost of monogram, cost of my sewing, and everything was getting to almost 165,000 naira for the same fabric, for the same outfit I made for less than 100,000. So the price difference is so much that you just need to know your way around pricing. So that's the sense of making this video, to tell you about pricing. So I will also go ahead to teach you, also show you how to make this Danshiki with this Cashmere 220. Now I made 2 or 3 videos on Danshiki, and most people have been enjoying the video and making comments that shows that these my tutorials were good enough, to give them more insight. So here I marked out my baseline and I marked extra 4 inches for the folding of the Danshiki or the hemming of this Danshiki, and then you connect the line in this form. Then after this, the next thing you do now is apply the length. So the length of my Danshiki is going to be 39-inch length, 39 inches length for my Danshiki. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it 37. The guy is not actually tall. 37. I did not measure him, so I'm working with pictures and the measurements I used earlier on. So I will make sure that this length will also be enough, So here you mark out the lines all through this way. So here you mark the lengths all through this way, and after which, this is now your working area, right? Now the next thing to do is to mark your shoulder measurements. So the shoulder we have is a shoulder of 20, that's 10. And then you now apply the length of your sleeve. The length of your sleeve, any length of sleeve you want to use. So the length of sleeve I want to use here is 16. So 16 inches is the length of sleeve, just this way, and extra 2 inches for the hemming or folding of my sleeve. So in total, we have a total of 28 inches in width this way, right? And this is why I have to fold this in this form, because most persons ask me, what's the guide to get the folding. The guide is the shoulder measurement of the person's choice of sleeve. It could be short sleeve, it could be three-quarter, it could be long, all your choice. And then add extra 2 inches for the folding. That's how you get the shoulder region, right? All right, so now after you have gotten the measurements needed, so you have to extend that same line to this region. Now, the reason you have to make sure you get to know the total width you have here is to make sure that whatever measurement of your fabric folding is correct, so that you don't have a smaller base and it will not give you what you're looking for. So now, there's what they call armhole opening. Now, the convention will tell you that when you want to open your armhole for the danshiki, right, you don't need to open it to be straight. So before you do that, this line will come in by 2 inches or 3 inches inwards. Now, the essence of this line coming in this way is to make sure that the underneath arm does not drop or get longer than the outer arm when you wear this outfit. And you are meant to slant this by 7 inches from here. 7 inches, right? Now, most people, we are confused. Why 7 inches slanting? Now, the answer to that is that it's not as if we are introducing a new slanting dimension or method, but when you still slant from the end of your shoulder 2.5, just like this, you will notice that if you had marked your neckline, let's say neckline of 2.5 inches this way, and then 3 inches, right? And if we square it up, if you square this up, just this way, if you square it up this way, and then slant from that point, from this point, so these 7 inches we slanted here is like a continuation of these 3 inches. Look at it. It will give you a straight line. It's like a continuation from here. Remember that we slant by 2.5, right? So this line is like a continuation of all the slanting you had done in your regular senator outfit. So it's like a continuation that it goes all the way to that very point. Sorry, this neck was not showing, right? All right, I think it's okay now. Sorry, my light just went off, so that's why I'm continuing this tutorial. So now, when you have understood, when you do your neckline and the neck width and square it up, so this is like a continuation. So that's the sense of this tutorial, to show you how to go about. Then you open your armhole, which I use sometimes 13 inches, 14, depends on the person's size as well. So I'm using 14 inches in this case. Then you are to come in here again by 4 inches, 5 inches, still depends on your customer's size as well. So I use 5 inches to come in there, and then I will take it down all through to this very point. Now make sure that what you have here left is way bigger than your hip measurement divided by 4. And then with the help of your ruler curves, you can gently make a curvy connection that goes all through to this very point. And with this, you can boldly say that you have drafted the front panel of your danshiki. So I would do well to drop a link of the first danshiki I made. If you have not watched it, please kindly watch it, because that will give you more explanations to this danshiki drafting. So this I'm doing now is like a backup to get you understand how these things can be done easily. So you cut. So like I was telling you guys at the beginning of this video, that quality only depends on your customer's choice. You don't project or assume customers' preference or choices to them. You allow them to make their choice, and then have your calculation done in regards to the fabric they must have chosen. So you cut all through this way. So don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like this video, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. So in the back raising, we are going to raise the back by 3 inches, equal raising, and then I will show you how to do that as well. All right, so now when you have cut at the front, you also replace support the back. And don't forget that you have to raise the back panel by the width, the length of 3 inches, right? The back must be raised by 3 inches because of the way we join this outfit. So here you mark 3 inches for the back raising. So it must be raised by 3. You know, we join with more than half an inch. So once the back has been raised, you connect the lines all through from here to this very point. Connect from here as well to this very point. And you mark the neck width all through from here. And the depth of this neck is 1.5 at the tip of the neck shoulder, and then 3 inches at the end here. So once you connect the both measurements, you are going to get a perfect neckline connection. So here you connect the both lines, and it goes all the way to this point, and then you cut. So you cut it out from here. We cut it out all through to this point. So while you're trying to cut the shoulder region, you tend to go a bit away off and then blend in. Then you cut all through, cut here as well. So then you have the baseline cut out. So you're not done yet. You're still going to do neck trimming. Please watch. When you have gotten to this point, so the next thing you will do now is fold this neckline, this shoulder, to come down this way, right? And the extent of your folding should be 2.5 inch range or 2 3/4. Now you're going to trim out the excesses that appear to encroach on the front neckline. So you're going to trim this, bearing in mind the size of the neck circumference of the front. Then trim this out. So this helps your sewing to relax. There are some posts I do see online where when you after sewing, the front panel does not relax. It tends to squeeze or fold. So this is the cause when your both panels are not aligning or corresponding. So this is just the cause or the reason for this. And then you also trim out the shoulder point this way. So this is what you must do before you go for embroidering. So I will take this now to where I do monogram, and the monogram will be done on the chest region, and that is all I want to teach. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye for now.